Final Fantasy patch 6.8 notes are now live. The game is down for 24-hour maintenance and will come back online with the following changes. This patch brings changes to Asphodelos, 24-man upgrade items, PvP job actions, including Frontlines and Crystaline Conflict. System changes including new Japanese and European data centers and data center travel, as well as some resolved and outstanding known issues. Friendly reminder to hit that like and subscribe button, as they really do help the channel grow. Let me know what your favorite content update is in the comments below. Let's go! Patch 6.18 brings a number of additions and refinements to the game, including data center travel, system, and new Japanese data center media. Final Fantasy XIV Patch 6.18 Battle System. The weekly restriction on receiving the Unsung Blades of Asphodelos from Asphodelos, the Fourth Circle, has been removed. This is the 1 of 10 weapon items that are needed to required to gain access to the level 590 weapons that you can trade in with tomestones. The weekly restriction on receiving Unsung Blades of Asphodelos from Asphodelos, the Fourth Circle, has been removed. This typically was a 1 drop per week. You could only get it from completing the final normal stage of Asphodelos. So now that this has been removed, you can get as many as you want and turn them in for as many weapons as you can afford with tomestones. The following adjustments have been made to Pandemonium Asphodelos Savage. 2 treasure coffers will now appear. Furthermore, the weekly restriction on rewards obtained for coffers has been removed. The weekly entrance restriction on all areas of Asphodelos Savage has been removed. Players may now proceed directly to any circle of Pandemonium Asphodelos Savage. Okay, so no more raid lockouts for statics. Honestly, anyone can go in with anyone, and no matter if you've cleared it already for the week, you can go in and get full loot. The benefit here is that all the jobs that you've been waiting to gear, all of the ones that you've been piecemealing things together slowly over time, hoping that you finally achieve that eye level 600, you can go in and knock it all out right now. And it's going to be great because you can finally make all your jobs eye level 600, regardless of how terrible your luck is, like mine. Players may now proceed directly to any circle. Okay, so you don't have to go 1, 2, 3, 4 anymore. You can go into 4, then 2, then 3, then 1. Doesn't matter what order you want to go into. Basically, all that means is you have freedom to maneuver in the most current raid tier. The item required to enhance weapons purchased with Allegan Tomestones of Astronomy, Radiant Roborant, can now be purchased from the following vendor. All right, so what that means is if you've completed the weekly 24-man raid every week up to this point and saved your coins, you can now trade those coins in for the Roborant. The Radiant Roborant is what you use for your weapon upgrades. After acquiring the items to enhance your equipment from Jalaxai, Wilmetta, or Navask, speak with Khaldin and Razadhan and exchange them for augmented gear of your choice. Okay, perfect. The following adjustments have been made to PvP actions. Paladin gets an update to Holy Sheltron. Damage reduction of the Knight's Resolve effect has been reduced from 20 to 15%. This is not great. Reducing damage of Knight's Resolve effect has been reduced from 20% to 15%. So you're actually going to be doing 5% less mitigation now by using their small mitigation tool, Holy Sheltron. Marauder Warrior gets an update to Onslaught and Orogeny. Base potency has been increased from 400 to 500. Maximum potency has been increased to 4,000 to 500. That's fantastic. Being able to do more damage on Warrior is always a pleasant experience. I think everyone, both of these, I'm just jumping down. Base potency has been increased from 800 to 1,000. Maximum potency has been increased from 8,000 to 10,000. I want to say Onslaught and Orogeny are both AoE attacks. So maybe that's trying to incentivize using AoEs a little more frequently. Dark Knight, Bloodspiller, and Eventide. Base potency has been increased from 4,000 to 6,000. The threshold for reaching maximum potency has been changed from HP below 20% to HP below 25%. So it's allowing the, obviously more potency equals good, right? The threshold for receiving maximum potency has been changed from HP below 20% to HP below 25%, meaning that if you are below 25%, you can reach that maximum potency now, and that potency requirement has been increased 5%. So you have 5% more variance to hit that maximum potency threshold. Eventide. Base potency has been increased from 1 to 10,000. I don't know if that was an issue. Eventide being a base potency from 1 to being increased to 10,000. Let me know in the comments below if I'm missing something, but it seems like that's a very significant increase. Gunbreaker. Burst Strike. Potency has been increased from 6,000 to 7,000 as a Gunbreaker main. Fantastic. Burst Strike, obviously comboing with Hyper Velocity. Potency has been increased from 2,000 to 3,000, so a 10,000 potency total between the two GCD and OGCD continuation mechanic. Barrier potency of the Junction Tank bonus has been increased from 5,000 to 6,000, which is nice. Potency increase of the Junction DPS bonus has been changed from 4,000 to 5,000. Cure potency of Junction Healer has been increased from 3,000 to 4,000. Some of this is okay. Honestly, I still feel like Gunbreaker is a little weak in PvP, so I'm not using it as much, but it is nice to see them buffing it a little bit. But it feels like each of the tanks are getting their own, minus Paladin, are getting their own buffs as well. Sight and Tenchu. For Ninja, duration of Unsealed Sight and Tenchu effect has been reduced from 10 to 8 seconds. That's good. It's a 20% reduction in CD, so that's fantastic. Unsealed Titan has been reduced. Unless Unsealed Sight and Tenchu effect is a positive effect, in which case being reduced from 10 to 8 seconds is actually a hindrance. Machinist receives updates to Blast Charge and Aether Mortar. Now, Blast Charge now grants a movement speed increase when overheated. That's okay. And then Aether Mortar potency has been increased from 4,000 to 6,000. Barrier potency has been increased from 4,000 to 6,000. Potency increases are good. Movement speed increases when overheated. So once you gain access to your higher hitting abilities, you are actually faster. I think that's beneficial. I think Machinists would agree. 4 out of 5 of them at least. Dancer, Honing Dance. Potency has been increased from 3,000 to 4,000. Reverse Cascade. Potency increased 5,000 to 6,000. Fountain Fall 7,000 to 8,000. And Saber Dance bonus damage has been increased 5% to 10%. So that's a pretty massive upgrade to Dancer overall. But again, you see a theme here. These are all Dex jobs receiving buffs. Black Mage, burst potency has been reduced 16,000 to 12,000. Black Mage had just received a massive buff patch. Then they scale it back a little bit, and I think this is them scaling it back a little bit further. Super Flare, enemies under the effect of Umbral Freeze will now be afflicted with a status ailment commensurate with the number of stacks accumulated. 1 stack heavy, 2 stacks bind, 3 stacks deep freeze, duration 2 seconds. I don't know if the duration for each of those are 2 seconds. Like, is the heavy 2 seconds, bind 2 seconds, and deep freeze is 2 seconds, depending on how many stacks you have. That's what would make the most sense to me. 2 seconds in PvP match can feel like forever, even though in reality, we just kind of notice it pass. Fester. Action. The base potency has been increased from 3,000 to 4,000. Max potency has been increased to 6,000 to 8,000. This is probably trying to get summoners a little bit closer to damage to Black Mage. Astrologian. You've got Gravity 2. Heavy effect is now only applied to the first target. Okay, so you've got an AoE attack, and only the first target, probably the one that you are selecting, is the one that's going to get the heavy effect. Gravity 2, when executed after a double cast, bind effect is now only applied to the first target. So this sounds like a little bit of a nerf to astrologians as far as crowd control goes. Obviously, having any sort of crowd control in PvP is still beneficial, because if you can get people to either be slowed or, stuck in position, that's beneficial when you're massing fires on any target. Crystaline Conflict. Season 1 will end and Season 2 will begin. When the season ends, the top 100 ranking players from each data center will see vouchers via the Moogle delivery service. Players finishing in Bronze Tier or higher can claim rewards by speaking with a seasonal quartermaster at the Wolves End Pier. To learn more about the rewards, we can click on this link here, but we're not going to do that. The rewards this season felt kind of lackluster, but I think that's because they introduced the series, which enabled you to get a lot more glamour / collectible style rewards for your characters. So I'm okay with the rewards for these seasons being primarily negligible because of the issues with bots and win trading inside of Crystaline Conflict. Upon commencement of Season 2, you'll be placed 5 risers below your final placement in Season 1 with 0 rising stars. This is about an average of two ranks total. So, if each rank has 3 stations in that rank, each bronze, silver, gold, etc., has 3 positions you have to pass in order to get the next rank up, you're going to lose about 2 ranks overall. Just shy. Frontlines, we are planning a number of adjustments for patch 6.2, including further changes to the rate at which the limit gauge for each job fills, as well as damage modifiers. The combat rank bonus for the limit gauge has been adjusted as follows. And I think, going back to this first comment, it's not just Frontlines that they're looking at job changes for 6.2. It sounds like they're looking at a bunch more jobs. And we won't have any more details on that until we get a little bit closer to patch 6.2. The combat rank bonus for the limit gauge has been adjusted as follows. Before, first was none, second was 1.25 times faster, third was fills 1.5 times faster. After, it's going to fill 0.75 times slower, and none. Second is none. Third fills 1.25 times faster. I think this is misleading. I don't think it's actually going to fill 75% slower. I think it's going to be 25% slower than you were used to it filling. And then second will be essentially what 1 was prior, which means that each rank is going to receive a 0.25 reduction as to how fast it fills. So a 25% reduction in how fast your bar is filling. Damage modifiers based on job have been adjusted as follows. Damage taken for tank and melee DPS have been changed from 40% to 60%. Damage taken for physical range DPS, magical range DPS, and healer have been changed from 20 to 30%. And damage dealt for summoner, scholar, and white mage have been changed from 0 to 10%. I want to say everything is under this green header. So as much as I would love to say these damage modifiers are based on the entirety of the game, they are specific to PvP and specific to Frontlines. So the amount of damage taken for tanks and melee, they're going to have 60% less damage taken to the 40% they were taking previously. Damage taken for physical range DPS, magical DPS, and healers changed from 20% to 30%. So they're going to have 30% more, or 10% more mitigation for a total of 30%. And then damage dealt for summoners, scholars, and white mage, they're all going to get a 10% buff to the amount of damage they deal inside Frontlines for PvP only. A new data center, Meteor, has been added to the Japanese region. Following the addition of this new data center, worlds across all Japanese data centers will be redistributed. New worlds have been added to the European data centers, Chaos Data Center, including Sagittarius and Phantom, and Light Data Center, including Alpha and Raiden. The data center travel systems have been implemented. So this is a new system. They said it works similar to World Transfer. However, with the added requirement that you have to actually exit the game in order to do the data center visit. So from the data center, or from the character selection screen, Choose a character and visit another data center from the subcommand menu. And as you can see here, they have visit another data center as part of the options. Select data center in the world to which you'd like to travel. So once, if you started in Aether and you want to transition to Crystal, you just pack your bags and you go to Crystal, and you're going to be given the Traveler FC, essentially, replacement. On the final confirmation screen, select Proceed and return to the title screen and begin the data center traveling process. Once data center travel has been successfully completed, you may select the appropriate data center in world to log in. Now, this is a big concern. The items in red here are very significant. If you want to do data center travel, look me in the eyes right now. Do not do it if you are not certain you want to do it. Data center travel cannot be canceled once it's in progress. Time required for data center travel may vary depending on congestion of your selected destination world. So if you choose a world that's heavily congested and you try to make that transition to the new world, and you decide at some point that you don't want to do that, well, you can't change your mind. You're going to that new world, So if you decide it's like an hour before raid time, or you have a day off and you want to go to a new world, if that world is heavily congested, what you're going to have to do is just wait it out. You could be waiting for 2 minutes. You could be waiting for hours. I don't know if the data center travel is going to have like an average wait time. That would be beneficial to anyone who wants to use the program, or the optional service. Otherwise, it could be chaos, at least in the beginning, while people are getting familiar with it. You may only travel to other data centers from your home data center. If you wish to travel to a data center from a different one from the one you are currently visiting, you must first return to your home data center and submit a data center visit request from there. So what is that saying? That's saying in order to complete a data center travel, you can only go from your home world to a secondary world, and then from that secondary world back to your home world before choosing a second destination. You can't go, for instance, from home world to data center world to data center world. You have to make the transition back to your home world before you make the journey to another one. Traveler titles. This is what I was referring to earlier. FC Traveler title is essentially what it's gonna be. It's gonna replace your FC name the same way Wanderer does when you do world travel. Players visiting other data centers will have the Traveler title displayed on their nameplate. This title will be displayed when undertaking duties on the destination data center. This title will also be displayed in the friends list and in player searches under the company column. Certain features are unavailable or restricted when visiting another data center. Now, these are pretty big because it limits what reasons you may have to actually go visit another world. Disciples of the Land will not be able to gather legendary and unspoiled gathering nodes. Retainers cannot be summoned, hired, or released from service. Items cannot be put up for sale on the market board. Market board items can still be purchased, much like when you jump worlds, but you cannot put anything up for sale. The following quests can only be accepted from your home world. An ill-convened venture, Gridania, Limsa Limita, and Ulda. I believe that is the retainer unlock quest. Free companies cannot be formed or joined. Free companies' information cannot be viewed. Company credits cannot be earned. And obviously this is less important as your free company grows, as you've been in the game a little bit longer. But if you're a growing free company and you're starting small, maybe a couple players, when you're doing all the things that you do in game, complete quests, level up, do dungeons, etc., you are building up company credits. You can't do that if you are traveling from data center to data center. Now, once you hit a certain point in the game, these become a little irrelevant. But for newer players, smaller FCs, definitely pay attention to that if you want to play with your friends. Free company chat cannot be used to send or receive messages. That's pretty self-explanatory. You can't talk to your FC if you're in another data center. Link shells. Information cannot be viewed. Link shells cannot be created or joined. And link shells cannot be used to send or receive messages. So unlike world travel, where you can have a cross-world link shell, there is no such device in place at this time for cross-data center communication. Cross-world link shells cannot be formed. It is still possible to join a cross-world link shell with a limit of 8 cross-world link shells per data center. Travelers cannot be promoted to master of cross-world link shells in the destination data center. Cross-world link shells in a different data center cannot be used to send or receive messages. So this may mean that you can actually utilize a cross-world link shell while on other data centers. You just can't have any significant role. You can't be a master of that cross-world link shell. At least one that starts in a world that or a data center that you're not a part of. Fellowships. I don't think anyone uses fellowships other than like memes and to redirect people to sites that they're not supposed to go to. But if you're interested, fellowship information in your homeworld cannot be viewed. Travelers cannot form or join fellowships in a different data center. Housing. Estates and apartment cannot be purchased, and good luck, purchasing an estate in your own world or data center. Residences sharing is unavailable. The quest Bird in a Hand can only be accepted from your home world. Eternal bonding. Ceremonies of eternal bonding are unavailable. Eternal bonding quests are unavailable, and invitations to ceremonies cannot be offered to players in other data centers. So if you want to see anyone get married, if you want to get married yourself, or if you want to participate in the eternal bond quests outside of your own data center, it is not possible. So if you want to get married, convince them to join your data center, or have them convince you to join theirs full time, and that's where you can, sign your life over. Gold Saucer, Lord of Verminion tournaments cannot be entered. I don't think anyone is entering these anyway, unless they have just completed, X number of minions, and they're just trying to get that penguin. Penguin? I think that's right. Let me know in the comments. Jumbo Jackpot tickets cannot be purchased or redeemed. If you want a consolation tissue for the failure to win your Jumbo Jackpot, please let me know. I will tell you you failed as many times as you want. You just won't get any MGP for it. Deep Dungeons. Deep Dungeon results will not be saved to leaderboards. If you're really that worried about leaderboards, you probably have already made it onto them, in which, this is not something you're really that concerned with. PvP, Crystaline Conflict ranked matches are unavailable. PvP team information cannot be viewed. PvP teams cannot be formed or joined. PvP item or teams cannot be used to send or receive messages. To me, this isn't a problem. It sounds like you're just not going to be able to really do anything PvP-wise. Moogle's delivery service. Moogle delivery service is unavailable. And that's it. Go to your home data center if you want to get mail. Teleport. Eternity rings may only be used when both players are on the same world, i.e., the ring that you get from the Eternal Bond is called the Eternity Ring. It allows you to teleport to basically one other player, and it's the one that you're bound to. It's one of the benefits to getting married, especially if you haven't done the Blue Mage trick for the tower in Kugane, or you're just bad at jumping. That one works really well. So basically, you can't use them if you're not on the same world inside the same data center. You can only use an Aetheryte Pendulum to teleport to the nearest Aetheryte if both players are on the same world. I have no idea what an Aetheryte Pendulum is. I don't think I've ever used one. If you know in the comments below, please let me know. You can teleport to a friend's estate when you are on their homeworld. Okay, fair enough. You can't go to a house that doesn't exist on a world that you're not on. Yes. New and preferred world bonuses. Bonuses will not be applied for visiting new or preferred worlds. If you are eligible for a new or preferred world bonus in your home world, these will still apply when visiting another world. So if you are on one of the new data centers, there is a new world on the new data center, and that world is available for the bonus. You get the bonus if you're leaving, but if you're coming from a congested world or a world that doesn't fit the parameters, then when you travel to that new world, you're not going to get those bonuses. Resolved issues. Following issues have been addressed. An issue wherein contradictory dialogue appeared when speaking with Philomene in Mordona after completing the Emiliant's custom delivery quest. Okay. An issue wherein contradictory dialogue appeared when speaking with Jesse in Ralger's Reach after completing the quest Goodbye. An issue when participating in frontline campaigns where players under the effect of White Mage Action Miracle of Nature were no longer affected by PvP damage modifiers. And other minor text issues have also been addressed. So it sounds like they had a couple issues with quests that they implemented in 6.15, i.e. the custom delivery with Emiliant's and Beyond the Rift with the Omega series. That's what that sounds like to me, as well as a small-ish PvP issue. But I could see how that would be a bigger problem. But because it's Frontlines, it didn't really do a whole lot. All right, other known issues. An issue wherein the numbering of cross-world link shells reverts to the order in which they were joined after using the data center travel system and returning to your home data center. Right, so basically what does that mean? That means the CWLS that you have, you know, you programmed it to be 5, but you joined it 3rd. It may just reformat how those are outlined. So if you're going to do some data center travel, just make sure that you go and check your cross-world link shells when you get back. Make sure the contents of your luggage didn't get moved around while you were moving about the cabin. And that's it for patch 6.18. As a reminder, hit that bell notification as well as like, share, and subscribe if you like the video content. Please tune in for more Final Fantasy XIV updates. If you haven't checked out any of my other videos, feel free to check them out now. As always, thanks for watching.